Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all. Education for all, for all.
Welcome to Teach Radio program. Today we are looking at the topic kind discipline. With me to discuss this topic are
Idris Suhun from Walwa Kuku.
Ilyasu Esule from Pundun Primary.
Tufil Said from Valpeswa Primary.
And Yakub Mohammed Awal from Valpeswa Primary.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start the ball rolling. What is discipline in your own words?
I would say discipline is a way of teaching children and students the acceptable behaviors in a very firm way, but in a kind way as well. Using kind ways in teaching them the right things to do.
I will also say it is a way of putting or teaching or guiding people, putting up a responsible behavior and also positive self-control.
Discipline is aimed at making sure that the right thing is done. Especially when it comes to our classrooms, we ensure that the children do the right thing at all times.
And also, discipline helps in, it also serves as a deterrent to others to follow.
Discipline guide the children to follow the right values of the school and the community. I will also add to that discipline is a corrective measure.
What kinds of discipline do you see in our schools, or you have experience, or you yourself being teachers have exhibited in our schools?
Me, for instance, one day I was late for school. We were about 5 children. The assistant head teacher called us to clean us. So one way we were assembled and he was cleaning. The first, second, third, I was the 4th person. I turned to run away. Unfortunately, the pain had got my eye. And it was swollen. For the rest of the week, I couldn't go to school. So I think those days, cleaning used as a punishment or disciplinary measure was very bad.
So we can see the effect of it, how it can affect these children when we use the cane. Anything can happen. They can be injured. Let's mention some of the hazards or some of the effects or impact of using corporal punishment.
On corporal punishment, deters or even school dropouts. Children run away from school and they don't want to come back as a result of the caning we shed tenure on. Yeah. And even Minister of Education and the Ghana Education Service have all frowned on the use of corporal punishment in our schools.
Just to add to what Chief said, corporal punishment also leads to students or children losing interest in doing certain things. Let's say in certain subjects. Example, in my case, back at school, I had an encounter with my friend teacher who was very harsh on us. He used to cane us during French lessons, which made us lose interest in learning French. So up to date, my friends and I, when we see each other, it's only bonjour we can remember in French. Bonjour, bonjour, they'll say bonjour. Then we just smile and go. So using corporal punishment can make students lose interest in certain subject areas. And even in the house as well, using corporal punishment can make your child lose confidence in confiding in you, the parents, telling you their problems and needs as well. Yeah.
Okay, I think another form of disciplinary measure we use, but we don't even consider that as well, anything harsh, is hooting in class. Yeah. A teacher asks a question, maybe a child fails to understand to get the question right, then the teacher will make the other children to hoot at the child. The teacher might not know the impact it will have on the child, but emotionally, the child will be what? Damaged and affected. I can follow the child throughout his educational life, but we often don't consider that as what? Harsh.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all. Education for all, for all.
So what alternative measures can we put in place so that those teachers who say that I must punish the child or I should use corporal punishment because I don't have any other alternative? So what alternative measures can we put in place?
I think we should try to include kind discipline. You should try to let teachers understand and know that kind discipline is what will...
Can we get an example?
An example of a kind discipline is referring the child to established rules set in a class. For instance, the do's and don'ts in the class, if you go contrary or to against any of the rules set up in the class, you try to refer the child to the laid down rules so that they wouldn't do that. An example of a kind discipline is also reciting a poem. You can let the child recite a poem or tell a story to the whole class. I think it is also a kind discipline. We try to recommend this to our teachers.
Why will you think that if you ask a child to recite a poem or tell a story, it's a kind discipline?
Yes, it will engage the child to think. If the child did not know did not have the point of hand, the child will have to think to get it, and then at least you will be a bit worried, and then you struggle to get.
Won't that embarrass the child?
No, I don't think so. It will rather encourage the child to learn more. That's my opinion. Maybe any of you guys.
Some will be mentally affected. As he or she is not able to deliver. Looking at the friends may decide to root at him. So because of that, he may be mentally disturbed on that day.
No, but then that depends on the way you put it. Have you seen that? Don't think because of so recite a poem. Have you seen? You are not making the child recite the poem because the child has done this. Immediately you want to say, because you have done this, recite a poem. There's a way you are going to say, so the child will not feel that you are punishing him or her. It depends on the way you put it.
So the child will not feel bad.
Yeah, that is.
One of the measures is also giving the child an extra academic exercise. You can allow the child, maybe during the break time or closing, you can steal the child 5 minutes to write a particular sentence, maybe 2 or 3 lines. I think that too is a kind discipline for me.
What of listening to the child? The child has done something wrong. You create the space or platform for a child to correct himself or herself.
Yeah, I think that you are right. Because sometimes the child must do something you think is wrong. You don't know why maybe he or she has done that. But if you find space to listen to the child, you will see that maybe the child did not do that intentionally. Have you seen? So it's always good when you listen to the children. I think that will also even correct them. Because if you listen to the child and then after hearing the side of the child, maybe you say, oh, why should you do this? Next time, don't do that again.
Won't that give the child a chance to become a liar? No, he also will decide to lie.
To add to what he has said, I think it is very, very important because sometimes maybe supposing the child is always late and it might not be the fault of the child. Following the child or listening to the child and following him or her to the house can correct that behavior. Maybe it's from the parents. So if you listen and then make follow-ups, I think we can talk to the parents to always try to release the child in time. I think listening to the children is very, very important.
Thank you very much.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all. Education for all, for all.
What will you tell our teachers as well as our parents? What do you expect them to do to have, probably do away with corporal punishment or harsh discipline and encourage them to resort to positive discipline?
To my colleague teachers, I want them to know that corporal punishment, if you try to indulge in corporal punishment and something happens, even the teacher unions is not ready to defend you. If something unfortunate happens, you will shoulder it by yourself. And then to the community members, I think it is good they also try to accept that corporal punishment is very bad to upbringing of our future leaders.
Good. Can we hear from you?
Okay. So what I have to add is I will encourage parents and teachers to always use kind discipline, in the sense that corporal punishment has a great negative effect than positive. In the sense that sometimes a child might come from the house beaten by the parent, and that will make the child kind of reserve, would not like to contribute in class, and it will have a great effect on the child at the end of the day. So I will encourage parents to always use, there are positive ways we can correct the child rather than using corporal punishment.
Okay, I think educating the parents would also help. If the parents know the new trends of education, and then how children should be handled these days, because it's not like the previous days where corporal punishment was a major measure to correct the child. This time the trend has changed, so parents need to change as well. So the parents need to support the teachers in doing that, because if teachers adopt the kind disciplinary measures, and then the parents only resort to the corporal punishment, I don't think will achieve anything. So the parents also need to support teachers so that we can achieve this together.
I think everybody should adopt kind discipline rather than corporal punishment.
Thank you very much. All too soon, our time is up. We want to thank our panelists for making time with us. Come next week, you'll hear from us again. Make sure you get yourself glued to your radio sets and then listen to the next episode that will be coming your way. Thank you very much.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio.
Hi, this is Wiyala. I support Teach to Teach because education changes lives, especially for girls. So let's take advantage of the positive impact education can have on our lives, our communities, and our people.
Teach to Teach is produced by Teach to Teach International in collaboration with the Center for Literacy and Vocational Studies, Ronin Africa, and Radio Savannah. You can find Teach to Teach International and Teach to Teach Radio on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.